Dave at Collectors Comics does not like Shortbox getting into the blind bag game, or Logan Paul is doing it as well. And I like his videos. Dave at Collectors Comics, he's got a website, he has auctions, he books for sale. Every dealer can put their books for sale on his website. He has a very fair fee. I think it's 5% is all that he charges to sell your books for you. So I watch his stuff. He's a smart guy, MBA type business guy. He's got some investments, talks about those now and then. But sometimes I can tell that his career choice is weighing on him. He's like, I got to put out some damn content just because my advertisers want me to. Sometimes his content looks like he just pulled something off the floor that morning. It's like, okay, these 5 comic books are going down. No random order, whatever. But it's still entertaining to watch. So he comes out with a video today, and the subject heading is, I hate this. And he's really annoyed that Shortbox is getting into the blind bag game. This is a popular thing on other websites, recently in comic books, and I think Logan Paul, he mentioned, is getting into it as well. And he's getting frustrated. And what I see this as is your classic old man out of touch with young kids. Let me explain this. First of all, he's what, 40 years old? I'm 57. He's like 40 years old, maybe 17, 20 years younger than me. Maybe he's 35, maybe he's 22 years younger than me. So he's making what I would say is a rookie mistake for someone who's a seasoned veteran in the comic book community for a long time. He knows a lot about comic books, knows a lot about buying and selling. He comes from either my generation or a little bit after my generation. We buy and sell books. We pay attention to prices. And there are smart way to collect, because a lot of people, I talked about this in the video the other day, a lot of us who collect comic books, we need to buy and sell to increase our collection. People come and look at my collection like, wow, where did this come from? Well, a lot of hard work for one, and a lot of buying and selling. I often talk on there that there's a lot of us, maybe the older generation, I don't know yet. A lot of us, we sell $1,000 worth of books, we buy $1,000 worth of books. We sell 10,000, we buy 10,000. As soon as I sold like 12,000 recently, and I told my wife, oh, no, you don't get to touch it. I'm buying 12,000 more books, and they are all trickling right now, so I got a whole bunch of new big books available, which is cool. But he's getting upset. And him getting upset, it comes across like he's upset at the younger generation. Could you be older doing this? Sure. Making foolish decisions. He's upset at a business that's taking advantage of a younger generation making foolish decisions. I get it. He's a business guy. He likes to look at business models and judge whether they're going to be successful or not. And I totally get that. But he kind of comes across like, if you're doing this, you're stupid. If you're in this business model, you're stupid. And what I would say is missing the boat on is the new generation likes to gamble. Right, wrong, or indifferent, they like it. It's like when people used to argue, why do you go to Starbucks to pay $7 for a coffee when you can get the coffee at the gas station for 80 cents? And Starbucks kept growing and growing. This was an issue that came about in, the late 80s, early 90s. And I got my MBA in the 90s, and I remember doing some studies on some of this exact topic, coffee and iced coffee back then. But people don't go to Starbucks for coffee. That's a big misperception. They go for the experience. They go for the free Wi-Fi, the air-conditioned environment, hang out with a friend, comfortable chairs, look at girls, whatever. It's not about coffee. I can go to the gas station and get coffee for 80 cents, 90 cents. So now bring that over into comic books. Why are they doing this? Why are they losing money on 97% of the draws if they sell it right back? And they're losing money if they're overpaying for the books. And he's right. The fair market values, they get to make it up. And they're all over the place. I've seen, I stopped using Shortbox, to tell you the truth. So I won an auction. The guy refused to sell it to me because it got so low, and I complained to the ownership, and they said there's nothing they can really do about it. And I just decided I don't want to deal with it anymore. Plus, it was really, really hard for me to get in touch with people. They said they didn't get my emails. I sent messages through the website. They said they didn't get it. So I don't go to Shortbox anymore. For one, I'm not finding good deals. As a buyer, I'm not finding good deals, which means the sellers are probably selling it for a nice high percentage. So if you're a seller, you might want to do it. But as a buyer who's looking for steals, I'm not finding a lot of steals on Shortbox, and Shortbox will probably be happy with that. But I didn't like how much difficulty it was to try to communicate. And the guy was nice enough, but it just left a really bad taste in my mouth. And I'm not going to spend time on an auction when there's really no repercussions for people backing out. So anyways, they got a bunch of money. Dave over at Collectors Comics tells you about that, the seed money, the investors' money. And they're getting into blind bags. And what I think Dave is missing is people are not paying for comic books. And he is right. If you're just looking for comic books, sorry, I'm going to eat while I'm doing this because it's going to get cold. If you're just looking for comic books, go get the coffee at the gas station. It's not as good as Starbucks. Okay. There's a lot of people who think Starbucks coffee is trash, so don't tell me the coffee at the gas station is not as good as Starbucks. It's all burnt beans anyways, right? But people like to gamble. And for him to say you can't like what you like is like the old guys saying you can't like what you like. And the young guys just hear that and they're just like, pfft. So I think Dave is actually going to turn off some of the younger people from his channel who like that because he doesn't understand why they like it. He's really focused on values and prices. And you even hear online on Facebook, a lot of people are not focused on values and prices. Collect what you want. I'll never sell any book until I die. I talked about this yesterday on a video that the guy who won that 9/8 key for $20,000, you may not know this, but he might have been willing to go to 25. So just because the high sale was 20 does not mean that's what it's worth. That guy might have been, I've been that guy where I've bid up to 6, 7, 8,000 and got it for 5. And then everybody thinks, oh, it's only worth 5. No, I was willing to pay 8. Now, we like to use last sale as a barometer of whether we're getting a good deal or not, and that is going to go to the wayside in this new environment where everything's so volatile. It didn't used to be like this prior to 2019. The sales thing was real steady, and now it's like boom, 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 all over the place. Got hundreds of more auction sites, literally. I only watch 30, but I keep hearing about more and more every day. I watch 30 auction houses daily and help people buy books at discounts. So there's a lot more out there than the ones I just watched. There's ones that do raws. There's all the estate sales places are getting into it. But Dave's revealing his frustration, whether it's a bad business model. I think you're right, Dave. I think it's a bad business model. I think people are trying to do to comics what's happened with Pokemon cards and sports cards and all that. And I don't know if they can. And so they're going to try this stuff. And maybe they make a little money. Maybe they run out of business. Maybe the clientele of buying comic books is in a different genre than the people doing blind bags for cards. But now with the moderns, it's revealing. People want these blind bags. They want a chance at that rare variant, just like in a Pokemon. Now, is there a good chance they're going to get it with these blind bags through Shortbox? 97% doesn't sound that great, even if you buy 10. So anyways, I just think there's something that he's missing. And he may not know it, and I may not know it, but this is what people want. If there's money flowing into the business, this is what people want. Are they being silly from a financial point of view? Sure, easy to say. Is it a business model that's just going to try to make money? Every business model is trying to make money. You can't have a business if you're not making money. So sure, they're going to try to make money. I say let everybody try to do whatever you want. You want it, if you want to price your books too high and scare off your marketplace, great. That just makes stable people like me and Dave worth that much more because we have a reputation and maybe we call these things out in advance before things crash. But there is something going on with the young generation in this gambling model. Maybe I tried to play around with it a little bit, but not really. I'm not a fan of it. We don't need to understand why people go to Starbucks. We're not in marketing. We're not trying to develop a new business model and find out what's working for them. Let's try to copy that. You could, but we're in comic books. So if I'm a kid and I want to blow $60 and get a thrill, this ain't no different than lottery tickets, guys. So maybe that's what Dave's missing. This is the same thing as lottery tickets. You're not going to win with lottery tickets. How many millions of people go into the gas station for that little scratch, $2? It's not as big of an investment, but that little $2, there's some payoff for scratching that. Ooh, I might win a lot of money. I might win 10, I might win 20, and then go buy $30 more tickets, you know. And so adults like lottery tickets, old people, young people, and these are the younger guys who are gambling. They like it. This is an element of auctions, because I do a lot of auctions. And there's an element of excitement and gambling, and I just want to beat that guy. I think it's over my price limit, but I really like that book, and I don't want him to get it for, you know, it's a $1,000 book. I don't want him to get it for $30 more than me or $50 more than me, so I'm going to just bid one bid up, because they don't have dollar increments at that level. You know, maybe over 1,000, it's $100 increment, but in some places it's 50. So you know, if someone's winning it at 1,000, you got to bid 1,050. And maybe you know that the recent sales are 1,000 and you're overbidding, but you're like, you know what, I need it. Maybe I need it for a signature series coming up, and I need it now. Maybe I need it from an auction site that's going to get it to me in 3 days, like Dave's Collectors Comics does. His auctions, when I win, I'll have it in 3 or 4 days. Some of these other sites, it could be 5 to 6 weeks before I get the books. So I like his auction houses because I think he overcharges for shipping, and I've told him that, but I think he gets the books out to you quick. So if you're trying to buy something for a signature series event, it's great to use because you'll get the book quick to send in. Let people collect if they want to gamble away lottery tickets. If, you know, I used to live near an Indian reservation in Phoenix, and I remember going out there and gambling and just wasting my money, and I was broke, wasting my money, thinking I'm going to hit the big shot, the big leagues. I think I'm going to be smarter. It's a young, immature way to go about it, but God bless you. Keep gambling. Keep those lottery tickets, blind boxes. Do what you got to do. I think I agree with Dave 100%. It's not a smart way to buy and sell comics. It's you're going to overpay. The company is going to, you know, they get to make up their own fair market value, and then they get to have errors as well. So when they're paying 90% fair market value, a lot of these comic book collectors don't know what fair market value is. It is not one single number. They read something off a list and say, no, the fair market value for this book is 100. No, go look over there. It's 95 over there. It's 115 over there. And those are computer-generated models, algorithms. If you just look at GPA, it'll show you what the last sale is. I just looked at a book yesterday. The last sale was 700, and the book before that was 300. What's the, quote, fair market value? They're both fair. They had a buyer and a seller. That's what the definition of fair market value is. They had a buyer that wanted to sell it, and a seller that wanted to, they had a seller that wanted to sell it, and a buyer that wanted to buy it, and that $300 was a fair price. And then a couple months later, that $700, fair price. It's going to happen, in my video I did yesterday, it's going to happen more than you think, though, with these huge swings in prices because of the difference between auctions and buy it nows and the increase in popularity of signature series. You know, you're going to, what, did someone just pay $1,000 for a Batman The Dark Knight Returns #1 9.8? Those are worth $700. Someone's paying $1,000 because they want to send it into Frank Miller to get signed, and then it'll be worth $1,800 or whatever it is. And so even when I watch Comic Tom and he goes, man, The Dark Knight Returns, it's a classic book. We don't have a movie coming. I don't know why it's going up. Well, I know why it's going up. Frank Miller and Klaus Janson are signing at CGC in a couple of weeks, and everybody's buying every one they can online because they know if they keep that 9.8 and they have a signature on it, they're going to make $500, $600, $700, $800, $1,000. So that's why. And I don't think Comic Tom paid attention to signature series, so he doesn't know this. When Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns book blows up on his top 10 list, it's just because people are buying up every 9.8 that's available, that's reported, and they're going to send it in. And the problem with those big books is they're very likely to lose to a 9.6. Unfortunately, I've seen a lot of 9.8s in that kind of thick book model in the 80s, and they didn't used to ding for the corners that had little rips and tears on them. because it was a thick book binder, but I think CGC has clamped down on that and now does. And so you send a lot of 9/8s in, they come back 9/6s. So be careful on those thicker books, cracking them in and sending them in. I have learned my lesson the hard way. I got a lot of 9/6 signed by Todd. Not only Batman Dark Knight Returns that I lost, but Spawn Batman, that one. Anyways, I enjoyed Dave's video. I think he and us, the older generation, were missing and misunderstanding what the younger generation wants and is looking for. And I do think gambling is going to be more and more prevalent. You see the auctions on Whatnot blowing up. You get in a lawsuit against Whatnot because it gets people addicted and they pay more. And then the books come up so fast you can't look them up maybe. Heritage is the same way. You know, those books come across, and if you didn't do all your research in advance, now you're just impulse buying and getting crazy. And I think it's worth that much, so I'm going to go for it. And it's happening on Whatnot, and they had a lawsuit against it. And this is an example of this gambling culture. I want no part of it, so I'm with Dave 100%. I think it's foolish and silly, but I'm not collecting the way these younger guys are collecting. Maybe these younger guys do all this gambling and they're like, okay, I don't want to buy scratchers anymore. I'll just move on with my life. But instead, they got a whole bunch of comic books. And maybe they just turn around and sell them. And I've had a lot of people come and sell these books to me for 20, 30% of fair market value. Just because they're like, I'm done. I don't even want to see them. They just bring back negative feelings. So if I can get rid of them. And if you paid 50% somewhere else, and that's taxable income, maybe 20, 30% is a good deal. So anyways, I like Dave at Collectors Comics, the website, the auctions. If you want to sell your books on their website, I highly suggest it in terms of the costs are low. You may not get the higher sales. Like if you're selling on Heritage, you pay 20% in the higher sales versus him, you pay 5% in the lower sales number. So think about that. Maybe also think about how fast you get paid by them, whether it's reported income or not. These are all factors to think about when you're selecting a place to sell on. But I do like his auction house. He's got one coming up in August. But sometimes his videos, he just looks tired. And he looks annoyed. He looks like he gets annoyed a lot. And I think there's a lot of people in this industry that have gotten annoyed because there's a lot of people that are annoying in the comic book industry. And they'll say things and they'll critique things like me doing, and they don't know what they're talking about, but then they try to bash your model or your price. And here we are, he's bashing their price and I'm bashing his model. And anyways, have fun out there. If you're older, stay away from those blind bags. Don't get sucked into it. It's a scam. If you're younger, have fun. And if you're older and you like the blind bags, God bless you. Do what you want to do. You're going to die soon enough anyways. Happy hunting, guys.